Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Felice Gonzalez, and today I'm going to be proposing several ideas to implement changes both externally and internally within Dr. Pepper Snapple Group. Right, so today we've accumulated over 50 brands, which is impressive throughout our years. However, in order to maintain our success today, we would have to implement changes both externally and internally in order to maintain our customer retention rate. That being said, we must first take a look at how soda sales have decreased throughout the years. Now, in this graph, it is noted that major soda brands such as Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, Pepsi Cola have significantly decreased. Now, although Dr. Pepper has maintained the same, this is still relevant news because this is still a part of the soda group. Now, this pertains to Dr. Pepper because as a soda itself, it may have this risk of actually dropping. Now, in comparison to other major beverage brands such as Poland Spring, Aquafina, Dasani, and other bottled water beverages, we can clearly note how they have significantly increased. Now, this is kind of risky for us because as a soda brand, we can note that all sodas are significantly decreasing in the United States while major watered bottled beverages are increasing, meaning that there's been a significant shift in consumer demand. Next up, we can take a look at how our internal problems within management is significantly causing a change and, of course, a disappointment within our employees. Now, major comments such as, there's no life-work balance, no management is terrible, no recognition, favoritism, terrible communication. People are good at management, but it needs a lot of work. And of course, management cares nothing for the employees, specify how clearly employees are dissatisfied. Now, there was this one comment in particular that stood out, and this person said that it's terrible to work here, and there was a reason that employees went on a strike. Now, that being said, we can know how this is super important and relevant to us because in 2011 and 2013, there were major strikes that happened within Dr. Pepper Snapple Group. And this is important because this ruins the company's overall reputation. Now, in order to stay the best beverage business in the Americas, we would have to maintain our employee retention rate and, of course, make sure or ensure that our employees feel the best in order to do the best type of work for us. Cool. So, how do we stay the best? And that's a question I'm posing to all of you. Now, we can take a look at Hawaiian Punch specifically as a case study. So as we all know, Hawaiian Punch has significantly been decreasing all throughout these years. In fact, it has declined by 80% since its introduction back in the 1900s. So we pose this question, how exactly can we improve the brand? And this brand? And the first thing that I looked at was the first thing that I did was that I went onto the brand page itself to check out exactly why this brand isn't doing so well. And when I went on the web page, I found that this was the only information that was available to this brand. It was the product information, which stated all the sugar beverages, or like the sugar calories and milligrams, in addition to its history, product information, and what's new about it. Now, this may be exciting for a younger demographic, however, this isn't relevant news to most adults anymore, especially for moms and dads who actually buy the product. In order to make sure that Hawaiian Punch is successful over the years, we would have to rebrand this beverage into a better note. In fact, we would have to reposition the entire branding in itself. And in doing so, we would have to take the idea of Hawaiian Punch and change it into something that's relevant news for all demographics. So how exactly would we do that? Now, we can take upon Hawaiian Punch in itself and we can look at this brand. So we can look at the logo of this brand. And we can note that there's a kid there who's doing a cool sign, which is pretty exciting and which is pretty exhilarating. However, to me, this says that this logo is all too specific to a certain target market. And this isn't really relevant to us because we would have to expand this in order to increase net sales. Now, in order to improve Hawaiian Punch as a whole, we would have to expand the demographic and reintroduce this brand as an overall exciting beverage to different groups of people. And in doing so, we would have to target Hawaiian Punch to different several markets. For instance, we could target Hawaiian Punch to college students or to an older demographic who use punches and other juices in vital drinks. For instance, what I'm trying to do is that we should implement Hawaiian Punch as a staple ingredient for several recipes, for jungle juices, for mixers, and maybe other alcoholic beverages, so that we can use Hawaiian Punch as a staple ingredient for different methods of, or different recipes such as beverages or even like other foods and desserts. And you're probably wondering, well, this is not exactly what Hawaiian Punch is for. However, the overall goal for us today is to increase net sales and ultimately revenue. And in doing so, we would have to totally reform these brands, such as Hawaiian Punch. So if we were to take Hawaiian Punch, we can implement the ideas that were created from 7-Up and the introduction of its new campaigns, and of course, put it into several other groups or other declining brands. So the idea overall is expansion. Exactly how will we increase our net sales? And of course, one of the things that we could do is increase sponsorships. And in doing so, we can increase sponsorship in campuses, in concerts, in music festivals, and other major events that pertain to human activity or major entertainment activities. So many beverages and many other companies out there are actually getting sponsored on college campuses. And that's something that Dr. Pepper Snapple Group does not do. So if we were to implement that in different groups or in different communities and different events, we would increase overall net sales. Additionally, we should introduce these products to new communities and of course, take advantage of our opportunities in international markets. So you're probably wondering, well, we have to maintain the best beverage business in the Americas, and that is true. However, looking upon this graph, we can clearly note that brands such as Coca-Cola and PepsiCo are significantly earning a lot of their revenue from international markets. Therefore, Dr. Pepper Snapple Group has earned a lot of revenue from the Americas. However, there's only a small portion that they've actually gained from international markets. Therefore, if we were to take advantage of markets outside, we would be increasing overall net sales and of course revenue. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that we have to sell our products or we have to distribute in international markets. However, what I'm trying to say is that we should implement a method of introducing these products to different target markets. So I'm not necessarily saying that we have to sell our products there. I'm just saying we should introduce it there to get people excited so they can start perhaps maybe ordering from the Americas or even introducing pop-up shops so we can gauge the profitability from international markets. Right, so the other concern that we have is addressing employee concerns and it pertainingly to management problems. And the method in which we can improve is through surveys, effective communication, training implemented from external sites or external companies, and of course, better scheduling. As noted from these comments online and reviews, in order to fix those reviews, we would have to implement these different answers or these different solutions in order to make our employees feel satisfied in the work that they do. Additionally, this is the timeline that I've created for our proposals. January being creating a list of declining brands and understanding how to prepare for increased advertisements, and of course contacting different planners from concerts, competitions to increase promotion. On February, we would have to choose a product brand such as Hawaiian Punch, rebrand it, and finalize ideas by March. And of course, organize DPS voluntary internship programs so that we can have college students promote our products to different campuses. Additionally, on March, we would film short videos that we can implement to reform the webpage of declining brands to make it more exciting, more informative, and of course, more relevant to today's news. And on April, we would look into international markets and determine which regions are the most profitable. And then we would take a look at creating pop-up shops in order to gauge profitability. Finally, in May, we would have our intern team promote DPS products on their campuses. We would ask our employees to create surveys so that we can implement a sudden change or a change of effective communication for our employees, and of course allocate $5,000 for departments in order to build team bonding events and social events in order to create employee happiness. Finally, on June, I would like us all to organize team bonding events and social events and execute them in the last week of June. And additionally, we should implement training boot camps for management to increase or to hold the highest standard of communication and of course effectiveness. Finally, this is the proposed budget, and unlike the idea here, although I'm asking for a significant amount of money, the idea of spending money isn't necessarily as important as changing these ideas or changing the problems within. In order to be the best beverage business in the Americas, as I've mentioned before, it is important for our company, DPS, to stay the best by fixing these internal issues. And although these issues may appear minor, they're significant enough to cause a riot in the long run. And these are risks that we should not, risk. So finally, let's take our logo of being the best American business and stay the best. Thank you, everyone.